So let's say you send the same hoodie design to 3 different factories. The first one comes back and they quote you $18 a hoodie. Second one comes back and it's $27 a hoodie. The third one is $43 a hoodie. You might think to yourself that the $43 hoodie is overpriced, it's too expensive, maybe you're getting scammed. And you might think to yourself, oh, maybe I'm getting the deal of a lifetime with the $18 hoodie. The question that you should be asking isn't what's going to be the most expensive or the cheapest hoodie I'm getting. It's, are all 3 factories quoting me on the exact same hoodie? And what do I mean by that? You might have sent them the same tech pack, but depending on the quality of your tech pack and the quality of the information, if there's things that are left up to the factory's imagination, they have to fill in the gaps. You need to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So the best way to look at this is to compare the quotes. Some factories might be actually quoting you a different fabric, maybe different construction. Maybe they're not using a ribbed cuff. Maybe they're not double layering the hood. These are all questions that come into play. And what changes the price can vary widely depending on what it is. So that $18 hoodie that you might have been getting might be using a very lightweight, cheap cotton polyester blend fabric without any finish on the inside. And that $43 hoodie might have third-party quality control. It might be with a factory that's reputable, that's worked with other existing brands. They have on-demand service and on-demand support. So these are all things that you need to ask. So before you go into your first production run and you get overexcited by the really great price that you're getting from a factory, ask yourself this: am I getting what I want? And when I'm comparing different factories, am I comparing them correctly? Without further ado, my name is Shadi Adada, and I'm the co-founder and creative director of FittDesign, the world's first sportswear design agency. And over the last years, we've worked with literally thousands of brands to help them go from an idea to a physical product. So I've learned a thing or two about how to compare and contrast different quotations from factories to make sure that I'm getting the best possible product for the most efficient investment. And if you want to learn what's the framework that I run through, then this is going to be the episode for you. Number one is that when you're comparing 2 different factories, on the outside, you might think that the product is the same. The design might look the same from the outside, but the devil is in the details. So for a hoodie, you might look at it and say, okay, it has 2 sleeves, it has a hood, it has a kangaroo pocket, it has wrist cuffs, and a banded hem. But depending on which factory you're going with, first, they might be playing with the fabric. You might get a 480 GSM, 100% cotton, brushed fleece inner surface finish with one factory, and you might be getting a 280 GSM cotton polyester French terry finish with another. And the result that you get out of this is widely different. One is going to come back, it's going to have that premium 100% cotton feel, it's going to drape beautifully on the body, and the other is going to look like something that you wouldn't wear to sleep. So those are the questions you're asking. It's also a question of what type of stitching that they're using. Are they using high density quality stitching with a high SPI, or are they using just standard regular polyester stitching with a low density that could come undone? How are they attaching the wrist cuffs? How are they attaching the waistband cuffs? Are they finishing everything cleanly? Are they using an overlock stitch on the inside, or are they just using a simple stitch and they're leaving the inside edge unfinished, which could fray over time? Also, look at, are they double lining the hood? What's the finishing of the hood? Is it a clean finish? Is it just a rolled finish? What type of embroidery are they using? Are they using a high density embroidery? Are they using just that flat, standard, cheap embroidery? For the drawstrings, are they using high quality cotton drawstrings, or are they using polyester drawstrings? Are they using brass aglets with a silicone coated finish? Or are they just using general plastic aglets? If your tech pack leaves these up for interpretation, then they're going to guess, and they're ultimately going to price you on where they make the biggest margins and where it's going to be the easiest for them within their supply chain. You need to ask yourself, am I getting third-party quality control testing? Is the fabric pre-shrunk? What are the tolerances that they're accounting for? If a factory is unable to give you tolerances when you receive the garment and the sizing is off, you have nothing to fall back on. A quality factory will give you a production sizing chart with tolerances, which means that the measurements that they're giving you, although between size and size, they may differ a little bit, but they will be more or less within a range of plus minus, let's just say 1/2 inch on the chest. Maybe they're going to be a 1/4 inch on the neckline. These are all things that you need to take into account. At the end of the day, when you look at the factory to factory, you need to not just see what it looks like from the outside, but also what the construction, what the fabric, what the finishing, what the trims are from the inside as well. Number 2 is that the material quantity that you're using in each product actually changes the cost a lot more than founders expect. If you're comparing the price of a crop hoodie to a price of a full length hoodie, that extra length literally can sometimes add an extra 30 to 45% onto the cost, because the primary cost driver of a lot of the products is going to be the fabric. So again, comparing different prices from different factories, especially with different products, but assuming that they're going to be the same because the product category is the same, is not the right assumption. It's the same thing with maybe an oversized hoodie versus a fitted hoodie. Just because they both have two sleeves, a front torso, a back torso, a hood panel, wrist cuffs, and a waistband cuff doesn't necessarily mean that they're using the same amount of fabric. An oversized fit can use up to 25 to 35% more fabric just because of the added length, the added width measurements. So these changes can make a huge impact on the finishing and on the amount of fabric used. Also, how your pattern or how the garment is constructed also has a huge impact. If you have raglan sleeves, your factory has to be less efficient with how they lay out the patterns, aka the different shapes of the garment on the fabric when they cut it, which means that there's going to be more fabric wastage, which means that the price is going to go higher. So a drop shoulder fit may actually be a more efficient cut than a raglan fit. And you might get both of the products together and you might wonder to yourself, oh, why is this more expensive even though it's the same fit, but it's just a slightly different construction? Well, that's exactly why. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, such as the cost per meter of the fabric, the amount to import it. If it's a specialized fabric, perhaps your factory's in China, but they need to import it from Korea. They have that time, they have that coordination, they have that actual shipping cost that they have to pay. So the good question that you need to ask your factory on is, what fabric quantity are you pricing this quotation based off of? Because if you notice that on one factory, their quantity that they're using, aka the yardage that they're using for that specific piece, is way lower than another, but the prices are similar, you might have to ask yourself why. Number 3 is that the fabric itself completely changes the performance and the price of the hoodie. Pricing a hoodie that is made out of 280 GSM cotton polyester blend with an unfinished finish is going to be very different than how you price a 480 GSM 100% double combed cotton that's organic and that is Oeko-Tex certified. This, although both are hoodie fabrics, the price per yard could completely differ, almost double if not triple in some cases. And you might be asking yourself then, is it worth it to spring for that higher quality fabric? Well, if you're getting a fabric of a low quality, perhaps it's going to peel faster. Maybe it's going to lose its color much faster because it doesn't have a great color fastness amount. Or if it's something that's going to itch, it's going to scratch, it's going to be uncomfortable when someone is wearing it. So when you look at two quotes for the same hoodie and think to yourself, why is this factory way more expensive than this factory? Ask yourself, the main ingredient that's going into this product, is it an ingredient that I can sign off on, that I feel comfortable with? Because at the end of the day, the first thing that a customer is going to touch and feel when they take the product out of the packaging is what? It's the fabric. Number 4, the way that the garment is constructed also changes the cost and the perceived quality. What you see on the outside is never the end of the story. The best way to analyze the quality of a hoodie is to turn it inside out and to see how the garment is finished. Are they using just plain open seams where when you turn them on the inside, you can see fabric fraying, maybe the threads are coming on loose, or are they using a tight, high thread count overlock stitch to finish up the garment on the inside? Or even plus that, are they using a top stitch on the outside to secure the garment, to add more reinforcement to the seams and to help the seam allowance, aka that extra fabric that comes together when your fabric is joined? It's that extra piece of loose fabric on the inside. When they top stitch it, they not only reinforce that seam, making it easier to move in and more durable long term, but also making it more comfortable to wear because you don't have that excess fabric on the inside rubbing up against your skin. These are all things that change the effect, but also the quality of a product, but they also add more labor, more time, more quality control. Are you getting a garment that has reinforced pockets that have zigzag stitches on the end so that when you put your hand in, you're not actually ripping the fabric? Do you have zippers that are of high quality? Are they YKK? Do you have zippers that are going to last when you use them? Even the hood, is the hood double lined? Is the hood a custom shape or is it a standard block? Because depending on the type of garment that you're getting, if you're getting a hood where the shape of the hood doesn't match the performance, maybe it's not an oversized hood, maybe there's not enough coverage, it's just a standard block that you get from any Walmart hoodie. When you wear it, that drape that you get on is going to be key. You'll see this sometimes when you see hoods with a single line down the middle. That single line can sometimes cause issues because it causes a point. You might get another premium hood that has a darted finish. The darted finish is one pattern for both of the hoods, and it has a seam that goes halfway through the hood itself and it's joined. The advantage of that is that when you wear the hood, it looks super clean and flat on the front. It's still a bi-panel hood, but it just looks much better when you wear it. The disadvantage is the pattern that they have to draft the hood with has to be much bigger, which means the fabric consumption goes up because the efficiency of the fabric consumption is way lower, which means a higher price per unit. But that's the marker of luxury. It's the things that you don't see that add that depth. That's something that a startup brand or an amateur brand can never replicate. Number 5, we have to understand that service is part of the price. Even if founders, we don't always see it. Because a factory that always responds on time, a factory that gives you clear and consistent feedback with great communication, gives you multiple sample revisions, it gives you a sample report, it makes sure that it's showing you that we're following the measurements from your tech pack and this is how they're implemented and this is the timeline and this is when you can expect to receive it. It makes everything efficient. All of that creates an overhead or an administrative overhead. The factory needs to employ people, it needs to train them, it needs to make sure that they understand your needs. If there's a problem, there needs to be escalated. There needs to be all of the different elements that create a great A to Z customer experience, which comes in with better time management, with more transparency, with better communication, with better actual guidance from the factory side. You want a factory that when there's a problem, they know how to guide you. They know how to troubleshoot with you. They're not just going to leave it up to you to actually figure it out for yourself. Because if you could figure it out for yourself, you wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. So when you're working with a factory, you're not just buying the unit, you're buying them as a partner. And this is key, and that's baked into the price. Number 6 is that the reputation of the factory affects the quote because factories also price risk differently. A factory that has a much better reputation will most likely have better customers, which means that they'll have the opportunity to work with higher quality customers that pay them more and that have higher quantities. You have to understand when a factory is working with you, you're not just giving them money, they're giving you their time, their effort, their expertise, and they're creating the product. It's an equal exchange of value. So that is one of the mindsets you have to go in there knowing, especially with a factory that has a wide clientele. They can take their pick. And the amount of time that they spend with you is going to be the same amount of time that they spend with someone who already has tech packs, who already has worked with them, who's already paid them, who's already in the know with them. You're building that relationship from scratch, and they are as well, which means that they are taking a risk on you just as much as you're taking a risk on them. But if they're already established and you're not, the risk for them is way bigger than the risk for you. That's one thing that you have to bear in mind, and that is priced in to the product. Because at the end of the day, if they go through all that work, they create the sample, they develop it, they go through that communication with you, and you don't proceed because of a lack of funds, a lack of expertise, a lack of the ability to actually move forward in your business, then they've spent the same amount of time developing that product with you as they would have with another customer that will make that order. Number 7, this is where the tech pack and having a factory-ready tech pack levels the playing field, especially as a startup brand. When you enter the chat with a tech pack that is the same level, if not a higher level than the established brands, even if you haven't worked with a factory before, this does a couple things. Number 1, it shows them that you're serious. It makes the perceived risk of you working with them way lower, and they know that this is someone that is willing to invest in their business, and this is someone who means and is serious. You're going to get faster responses, you're going to get more accurate quotations, you're going to get a better pick and a better service. It's kind of like you're being pre-qualified from the factory simply by the quality of your inputs versus another brand that is coming into the relationship for the first time, that is relying on an established factory to do everything for them. They're sending them AI screenshots, ChatGPT slop, and telling them, this is what I want to make. You're asking the factory for too much, and you're asking them to take a chance on you when you haven't even done the opportunity and the due diligence to educate yourself and to get the right tools in play to put yourself in the best possible position. So a quality tech pack is going to make sure you get your foot through the door, and when you go to get quoted, every single detail is going to be in there. So you're going to get the best possible product for the best possible price, because you're going to be able to see on the quotation when you're comparing it between factory A and factory B that they have followed the details on the tech pack, and then you can truly see who's giving you the better deal. That's why having a factory ready tech pack is essential. And if you want to work with a team that's done literally tens of thousands of them for some of the biggest brands you can think of, you can check the link in the description to apply to work with us one-on-one. And literally within 5 minutes of your inquiry, we can take you with a clear production roadmap on how we can take your idea and turn it into a physical product in under 30 days. So, guys, I say this from the very bottom of my heart. If you enjoyed this episode of FittDesign TV, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of FittDesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay on.